Hello there everybody, this is Krista and welcome back to Crochet Witch Tarot. And we have another installment of recent acquisitions because in my last one I asked if you all would be interested in seeing this on a more kind of monthly basis. I gotta stop clapping. Jeez Louise, that must sound crazy over video. Anyway, see this on a monthly basis because I feel like there's a few people who do these kind of monthly, really deck hauls, so to speak, and I really enjoy them. And it seemed like the consensus was, let's do it. So I'm very excited, and you will be so proud of me because I kept track. I made a note on my phone, and anytime a new deck came in, I actually did write it down. So this list here should be pretty accurate in terms of like from the last one, pretty sure. So let's just get started because I've got these all in a random pile. We're not doing anything in any certain order because I just piled them up. So let's get started. First and foremost, right on top here, I've got the Mousebow Tarot. So this is a make playing cards deck, which is why it's in a mesh bag currently because it did not come. I'm gonna hold this one. I promise I won't do that with all of them, but it's so many and I don't want to keep zooming in and zooming out the camera. But it is a collage deck based around mice. So we've got all these mice and cats and kittens, and it is the most fun. We've got birds, there's like hedgehogs that show up, all sorts of creatures. So it's really not, look at this, I mean, come on. It's got this very like English countryside feel to it. Like I feel like this, look at that fairy. This is some sort of like strange art you'd find in your grandma's house kind of thing. And I mean that in the best way possible because this deck is bringing me so much joy. Look at that Hierophant. Oh my gosh. Like my only complaint about this deck is that I wish this is a poker size, I would say. Well, maybe two complaints. Don't love the backs. Don't really know what's going on there. But you know what? It kind of, you can't say it doesn't fit. Doesn't fit the vibe, you know? But I wish that these cards were bigger just because there's so much going on in the artwork and it's so detailed that I really have to look at each one. Like I have to pick up each card and hold it close to my face, you know, to really see what's going on. And I'm not a glasses wearer or anything like that. So, you know, that's probably my only complaint. Otherwise, I have been loving this deck so much. I've been carrying around in my work bag. Look at the hedgehogs. Oh my gosh, like that's so much fun. It's just a cute deck. It really, I don't know, it makes me think of those British like procedurals, the mystery shows. I love this deck so much. It's so fun. And the kittens, come on. So cute. So that is the Mousebow Tarot. It's decently new, so I've not gotten to know it super well, but it's a good mood one, you know? Where do I want to put you? All right. Next up, we are going to look at, you know, let's just get the small ones. Let's get the small ones out of the way. This is a Kickstarter that came in. It is the Little Monsters Lenormand by Joanna Nelson. I was so excited. I love Joanna Nelson's Kickstarters. One, I love her decks, so that is why I kickstart them, but I just feel like the process is so amazing every single time. Like, she is somehow so quick with it. Just, I don't know, just on it. I love it. But this is her latest creation. It is a Lenormand deck created from the world of the Lenormand Tarot, which is one of my favorite decks. And so watching the process of this deck get made on Joanna's Instagram was so much fun. As soon as it went up, I knew I was backing it, especially because I've been really getting into using Lenormand a lot more lately. So I actually only used this one for the first time yesterday. I brought it to work with me because I've discovered that one way I've I was gonna say always use Lenormand, but like always used it in the sense of since I started using Lenormand, is to find whoa, words today. Find lost objects, which I lose things very often, so that happens a lot. But another avenue I have found that I enjoy for Lenormand is a before work reading, because I really do like bringing cards and doing a reading before I start work when I get to my desk in the morning. And I was using tarot, but it started to feel a little redundant because I use Oracle and Tarot for my daily reading I do in the morning at home. So this feels a little bit more specific, and I feel like it's easier for me to kind of utilize it for the specific energy of being at work, which is what I'm looking for with those readings. So used this yesterday. It was so fantastic. I love this so much. And what I will say actually is that the cardstock feels a little bit more flexible than her decks typically are. I don't know if it's that there's less cards, but I can riffle shuffle this so easily, and I really, really love that about this too. And look at the backs. So good. So that is the Little Monsters Lenormand. And the last little deck is the prototype copy I have of the Feel Your Chakras Oracle, which if you watched my latest video on my Getting to Know Yourself reading, I showed this deck because I really like utilizing it in that reading I do for myself pretty much every day. But this is the new and improved version of Andy at Metaphysic Made Easy's Feel Your Chakras Oracle. It is now up on Kickstarter. I'll have a link. I will have a list of all these decks below, and I'll be sure to have a link to the Kickstarter again. Definitely recommend checking it out. It's so good. I mean, I've always been a Feel Your Chakras fan. It's just so versatile, even as someone who doesn't really often utilize chakra energy. I really don't use this deck always as like a chakra deck, you know what I mean? I really, really love it. I think my favorite part has to be the solid color backs. I don't know. It's just so good. But yes, can't recommend enough. You get so many cards, and it's just like, I don't know. She really put so much thought into this. Can't say enough good things. I know I'm biased, but it's one of those things where, like, even if Andy and I weren't friends, I would love this deck. So good. I'm so excited to see the, just like the finished copy after the Kickstarter. Not that this is a really good, I mean, this prototype I have here is a really good idea of what you're gonna get, but, you know, there's things just like a few spelling errors, grammar errors that, you know, we wanted to look over with this prototype. So if you see anything of that sort, don't worry. This is not, she doesn't have them printed yet, so those will be fixed. Anyway, Feel Your Chakras Oracle. I know I show it all the time, but it's just because I genuinely use it so consistently. All right, now I promise I'm going to stop holding the cards up because that was the last, like, smaller sized deck. I love this two-piece box. So good. Anyway, okay. Next we've got the Threadbound Oracle. I found this one used, I want to say on like eBay or something. Because I've never really looked at this deck before, but I saw it on Lisa Popez's, ooh, we should zoom in a little more. That's out. All right. This or That. I don't remember what exactly she was comparing it to, but I saw it on there and was hearing the concept, which it's a deck based on some YA novels where I think it involves people who work or go to this magical library. And as soon as I heard magical library, I was like, oh my gosh, like that sounds so cool. I mean, again, biased because I am a librarian, so that did intrigue me. But then my thought was that I think I can use this in a really cool way with any sort of deck I have that is based on stories, I thought this would be a really neat jumping off point when reading with those decks in terms of kind of setting this whole portal or realm where I'm in this magical library, and whatever card I pull from here is what's bringing me into the world of a certain story. So for example, where did I just put it? Here it is. I've been really loving using it with Tarot in Wonderland. Actually, this is technically new this month too. Okay, so I already did forget one. This is new this month too. But Andy gifted me this one because she has that really beautiful Baba Studios one. And I was interested in having an Alice deck, especially when I had this idea about this kind of like story portal reading. So she gifted me this one because she didn't really use it, since if she's using an Alice deck, she's going to use the Baba Studios one, which I totally get. But I do really love this one. And so I've been so enjoying how these are reading together and how that idea's been going. If you're interested in seeing a video on that style of reading I've been doing, definitely let me know. But it's been really, really cool. I'm excited to try out some more decks. I kind of have to think of what I have that is story related. When the Wisdom of the Pooh Tarot comes, that'll be really cool. I do have the Literary Tarot, which would be interesting because each card is a different story, so that'd be a little bit different. But yeah, really, really enjoying that style of reading. Really been enjoying this Oracle deck, which is kind of fun because it's not my usual style of deck or artwork that I usually go to, but it's been a nice kind of just change of pace, some bright color, really fun. So that is the Threadbound Oracle. All right, these next two are by the same creator. Gosh, I need water. Goodness gracious. Okay, so the Tarot of Plants. Yes, this exists. Didn't know it did. But I think Andy found it on Etsy and immediately was like, oh, we need this. And I was like, yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. So this is the Tarot of Plants. And it kind of, it gives a similar, to me, this is like if the Herb Crafter's Tarot and, what's that oracle? Oh no, Roots and Wings had a baby. Because I feel like it's the art style of Roots and Wings, but kind of the concept a little bit of the Herb Crafter's Tarot. But what I really like about this is that it really does have different plants than Herb Crafters does, because it's not strictly herbs. So I've really been having a lot of fun getting to know this one. It's another one where it's a very different art style for me. I don't usually love watercolor, but I've definitely been more open to it. Look at this blue in the background. And so it comes with this little fold-out guide that tells you what each of the plants are, which is awesome, and gives you just a keyword. And like, I've really been enjoying that. While I do love Herb Crafters because you get such a beautiful write-up with it, this has been an interesting avenue to go in terms of creating my own relationships with some of these plants. Because you're just given the keyword, you know? But I've really, really been enjoying this one. It's just so beautifully done. I'm not crazy about the backs. I don't really feel like it totally fits the vibe, but that's not, you know, I don't really care. I'm not someone who cares that much about backs. I appreciate a good back, but if it's not a great back, it's not gonna bother me, you know? So that is the Tarot of Plants. And the creator so nicely, just because there was a little bit of a mix-up in the shipping, which is not a big deal. I totally understand that. Do it. Because I do it myself, you know? I've been there. But because there was a mix-up, she so nicely added in the other deck she created, which is the Hard Times Oracle, which I didn't even really like see in her shop. Oh my gosh, the first card we're on. But it's this square photography deck that just has a keyword on it. There's no guidebook or anything like that, so it's really like straightforward. It's a 66 oracle cards intended to give you guidance while going through tricky times. So it's a bit of like a kind of a shadow work type deck, but I almost feel like it fits in this interesting space of a card I would pull to kind of help myself out of that space in a way. You know what I mean? Like if I was doing a shadow work reading, I almost feel like I would pull this as a wrap-up message or something, but it's really, really interesting. It has interesting keywords. I haven't used it too much yet, but I'm really excited to. I love the shape and size of it. It's just got really nice messages on it. I think, and I'll have to try it in that way, because I really think that is such a space it could fit into. Is kind of that wrap-up message, advice almost. It's really neat. Look at like compost. What are your values? Soften. It's just so cool. It's really cool, and it was such a nice surprise that they totally didn't have to do, because, you know, accidents happen. That is something I am always big on, is that, like, you know, people can't help accidents. Everyone does it. So anyway, but it was really a nice surprise, and I'm so happy I have it, because it's a cool deck. So it's the Hard Times Oracle. I guess I should say who these are by, huh? So the store is Empty and Amazing. This is by Heather Enders, both of these decks. I should try them together, actually. I think that'd be pretty neat. All right, next up, we've got the Untamed Spirit Animal Oracle. Now, this is one that has been on my radar because I'm pretty sure both Andy and Sandy have this one, and I kept thinking like, ooh, I should get that too, but you know, I get caught in that thought of like, well, do I need another animal deck? No, but do I love seeing new perspectives? Yes. But then I saw Marlena Teresa in some kind of reading use this. I can't remember exactly where it was. I'm probably being so creepy right now and being like, I saw your reading. Loved, and actually, funny enough, oh my gosh, no, I can't, what am I doing? Sorry, cannot give personal things. Not that it was personal, it was posted somewhere, I just can't remember where. Rewind. Saw Marlena Teresa use it, thought it was so cool. I loved how she paired it. Oh my gosh, fangirl moment, jeez Louise. And something about seeing how she used it, I was like, okay, yeah, no, I gotta get this. So I haven't played with this one too much yet. Don't really, it's an interesting presentation. You get this like pull-out box that comes with the guidebook and then the cards in another tuck box. It's a really nice tuck box, like for a mass market deck. I'm very impressed, but I haven't quite gotten my head around how I want to store it. But that's, you know, that's besides the point. Anyhow, I really like the animals in this deck. I love the art style. I have to say, I don't really have an animal deck that is sort of like more limited like this. Probably the closest is Andy's Animal Guide Oracle pairs really well with pretty much most of my decks. But I think this one's going to be really, really neat to use, especially in those fall and winter months, which having plant and animal decks that have that darker half of the year feel is something that I have kind of struggled to find. But this and like the Anima Mundi Tarot, I feel like that's going to be the darker half of the year decks for me. And so I'm really excited for that. I'm going to use it now because, you know, it's universal. It's just black and white. Look at that. Oh, I love that hedgehog picture. But yeah, I'm really, really excited about this one. It's such a nice quality deck for the price. It really wasn't very expensive. So yeah, that is the Untamed Spirit Animal Oracle. Really excited to get to know this one. I haven't even really gotten into the guidebook or anything, but this one is probably the newest one of everything sitting here, so we just haven't had the chance. But we will. We shall. Not to fret. Okay. Alright, should we go? You know what? We're really putting myself on blast for how much of a fangirl I am today. Oh my goodness. But these next two are entirely because of Thea from Garden Goddess Tarot. Oh my gosh, no, I really am a fangirl this video. I just realized another deck that's because of someone else. Wow. That's okay. I love being a fangirl. I have no shame in it. Anyway, these next two decks are all because of Thea, from her Taurus season deck haul? I forget what she called it, but that was the video. It's like I saw these right away and was like, oh my gosh. So we're gonna start out with the first one, because this is not one, at least at the time of that video, she didn't have this one, but let's just show it. It's the Tarot Grand Lux by Ciro Marchetti, and Thea was talking all about how she has been on this Ciro Marchetti rabbit hole, and he is an artist that I have always been so fascinated by the artwork. Oh, nudity warning. Hello. And I did at one point have the, oh gosh, it's the one with the Llewellyn box set. It is called, oh no, Tarot, like Royale or I don't know. It's the Llewellyn box set. I did have that one for a time, but I think because that is borderless and so colorful, it was almost a little overwhelming for me. So I rehomed that one and then kind of just forgot about the fascination with Ciro Marchetti's artwork until Thea's video, and then I was like, oh my gosh, yes, I forgot there's other, you know, decks out there that exists by him, and I've also just been in this space of loving these ornate kind of borders. I used to really be like a borderless deck kind of person, but that's been shifting lately, especially just kind of recognizing how sometimes the border really does help contain certain styles of art, and that's what I find with this. And also, like, he does cool things where it comes out of the frame, it really brings it to life. And so what I have been really enjoying about Ciro Marchetti's artwork is that it really feels like magic brought to life. And like Thea described it, it feels like that old school magical prophecy-seeking type tarot, you know, where it's like you're looking into a crystal ball and seeing the future, and it's, I don't know, there's such a cool space for that, and something, it's just like that little bit of cheese that I love so incredibly much, so much. So I've been really, really enjoying spending some time with this deck, doing readings with it. It also really has this, oh my gosh, this is my favorite card in this deck. Look at that Strength card. Isn't that beautiful? It also really has this very interesting masculine feeling energy to me, which is something that I really do lack in my collection as a whole. I don't really feel like, probably the one otherwise I have of this is my Morgan Greer tarot. Feels like that masculine energy to me. So if I was looking for that energy, that was the deck I would use, but this is also one I feel like even more so has that kind of energy to me, which is something that I really am working on bringing more of into my practice, you know, not kind of denying that side of things like I tend to. And so this deck has really been helpful in that way as well, but I just love it. It's so good. So that is the Tarot Grand Lux. I'm really interested actually in getting the Mystic Palette Tarot. That's the one Thea showed, maybe a couple, but that was the first one she showed in the muted tones Oh my gosh, that is totally on my list. That's one of his indie publications, and I just think it's so beautiful. Specifically that like sepia tone one is so good. I'd be really interested to explore his artwork, like not in the super colorful way that it tends to show up in other decks. Alright, the other Thea inspiration was the Prophet Oracle. So this is all based on the story of the Prophet, which I haven't read yet, but cool enough. It's in the guidebook, so I shall. But even having not read the story, I don't know, there's something about this deck that is just really, really cool. I love the messages on it. It's one of those where it's a softer feeling deck. It doesn't feel abrasive in any way. It doesn't feel like it's really challenging you, but it gives you these messages that really stick with you and make you think about almost like the way you see the world in certain situations. But again, in this way that isn't confrontational. It's got this real like nurturing, healing vibe to it, and it's not like, the messages aren't confusing, but again, it's this thing of like, you kind of, like I'll pull a card and I'll mull it over in my head like all day and just think about it all day, which is always an experience I love to have with a deck where it's like you get a message and you're thinking about it for the rest of the day. And that's how I feel about this Oracle for sure. Oh, it's so good. And the artwork is so beautiful. I can't wait to read the story. So that is the Prophet Oracle. Oh, I lied. There is another another small deck, and this was gifted to me by a lovely viewer. It is the UUSI playing cards. So the same creators as Pagan Otherworlds. I'm so excited about this. It is probably just the most luxurious playing cards I have ever seen or had my hands on. So I have been really getting into playing card divination as well. And, oh gosh, I love the whole feel of this deck. Again, it's just a luxurious experience. I love having that classic, it feels like Pagan Otherworld's artwork on here, which is very, to me, like earthy and just connected feeling. And so adding that element into playing card divination is something that's been really, really nice for me. Because I've really just been playing around with it kind of thing, I've got a lot of well, I don't have many playing card decks, but the ones I do have are just really, they're cute and fun, which I love, and I obviously have a space for that as well. But bringing this kind of spiritual element to it that I feel like this deck brings has just been really, really cool. I love this one. It's so look at that. It's so beautiful. So that is the Pagan Otherworlds playing cards. Is there any other name for this? I don't think so. I think it's just, I don't know. Pagan Otherworlds playing cards. No idea. But yes, this was a very nice gift. I'm so excited about it. Yes. Okay. And next, you know when you have a Barnes & Noble gift card and you just like have a weird amount left on it and you just don't know what to do with it? So that's what I had sitting in my pocket for months and months because Barnes & Noble isn't super close to where I live. Nothing is super close to where I live, so it's just a trek to get there. But we were out to dinner with one of Paul's coworkers one night in a town like 30 minutes away or so, and the restaurant was right next to the Barnes & Noble. And that particular one has the best deck collection I've ever seen. And so there's a lot of ones that I had just never even seen in stores near me before. And so I took that opportunity. I saw one that I have been really eyeing for, oh my god, I feel like years now, that I've never really I don't know, I just haven't gotten it because the artwork, I wasn't sure how it was gonna jive with the artwork, but it's one of those ones where it's like everyone you see using it loves it. So I really wanted to try it out. So it was in that Barnes & Noble, so I used up the gift card finally to get this deck, and I'm so excited about it. And it is the Raven's Prophecy Tarot, which I already made a bag for. I just finished it this morning. And I have to say, I don't know if it's just, maybe my tastes have changed, I don't know, since I first saw it, but also I think it's just one of those decks that you gotta have it in hand and experience it in person to get the magic of it, you know? At least that's how it felt for me. So I've been really, really, really enjoying getting to know this deck. The artwork is gorgeous. The guidebook is just amazing. Really brings a lot of interesting perspectives to certain cards. And I just love how pared down a bit this artwork is with just the flat black background. This card is so cool for me because with that Seven of Pentacles being like really working at something, obviously, if you've seen my recent videos, roses are a big thing for me right now. I'm growing roses, and I have a climbing rose that I'm growing, and it feels like one of those things that it's like I kind of have to be patient and really put the work into, so really cool there. But yeah, I've really been enjoying this one. It's one that I really want to do some sort of like deep dive with. I don't know, I haven't entirely figured out a good method for deep diving decks for me because I really just need the variation for my brain. Like I need to switch it up or I'm gonna lose interest and I'm gonna blame the deck kind of thing. So I try not to like do the thing where it's like I'm using a deck, only one deck for every single day for the month. Like I cannot do that. So I don't know, still kind of figuring that out. I know Dawn Michelle just came out with her book on Amazon for bonding with decks. So I think I'm gonna, I don't know, I feel like that could be a cool thing to try. Anyway, really been enjoying this. That's the Raven's Prophecy Tarot, which I know is nothing new, but here we are. Anyway. Alright, so this is my last fangirl moment of the day, I think. This time, Candy from Candy Soul and Soil. I mean, I'm always a fangirl of Candy. I always love the decks she uses and how she uses them, but this one absolutely took my breath away when I saw it in her video, and I was like, I have to have it because I was starting my rose gardening journey, and it is the Rose Alchemy Oracle, another one I've made a bag for. Look at the rose charms. Let's take a moment for, oh, can we? Come on. Well, that's as good as we're gonna get. Take a moment for the bag. Yes, slay. Okay, anyway. This deck is just, it's so gorgeous. It's so gorgeous. It's pretty much like a rose photography deck. And there's no keywords, nothing on it besides this is how you find the entry in the guidebook. But the guidebook, oh my gosh, is something else. It really brings these roses to life and gives each of them like this really amazing meaning. Oh, I'm putting these upside down. Eek! The roses are broken up into different categories, so the only one I can remember off the top of my head is when it says RA, those are the rose angels. But I've really been so blown away by this deck. I've been using it probably every single day since I got it. It just feels so special. It feels like this really cool way to connect to that rose energy that I've just been so incredibly into lately. And I just love how, I don't know, it feels like bringing a sense of spirit into the garden, which is something I'm a fan of to begin with, but it feels like the kind of vessel to do that. It's so gorgeous. It feels like these roses are coming right off the page, doesn't it? I could look at them all day. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. And really, the guidebook it's so good. It just feels like one of those really special decks, you know? One more. One more. I promise. Oh, so good. So that is the Rose Alchemy Oracle, which I had never seen before. Seeing it on Candy's video. So thank you to Candy for showing that, because, oh my gosh, game changing. I've been using this in readings alongside my Mysteries of the Black Madonna, because Rose is something I really relate to my work with, any kind of Madonna energy, really. So that's been really incredible, using it that way. Alright, another oldie but goodie that I finally kind of just got is the Wild Unknown Archetypes. We don't have to look through too much. I know probably everyone and their mother has seen this deck a million times, but I'm really enjoying it so far. It's one of those where, like, the guidebook is so good. And I did have this at some point. I think I had my friend Rachel's copy to try. I don't know, something like that, I feel like. And I feel like it was too over my head when I used it the first time. Like, it felt overwhelming. But this time around, I don't know if it's just that I'm used to reading guidebooks so often and thinking in that way that it's really connecting. And so I got this deck to use in my getting to know yourself reading, that last video I posted, because the first card I pull is an archetype card, which you really can use any sort of deck for. You can even use, like, the Tarot Major Arcana. That would be cool. But I had some archetypes. I like having certain tools for certain things, you know? So that to say, you don't need an archetype deck to do that reading, and it's interesting for me to see that archetypes really do exist in most of the decks I have. Anyway, this is all besides the point. I've really grown to love Kim Kranz's artwork. I never used to like it, but all of a sudden it's just, I don't know, it's just working for me. I really like it. So that is the Wild Unknown Archetypes. Only complaint is that it's really hard to shuffle. Obviously because it's round, but also the card, like, it sticks together, the cardstock. I don't really know why, but that's okay. Next is another one I got used. It is the Threads of Fate Oracle. I guess this is the Shadow Edition. I don't know. Now I'm realizing, I think Andy has this deck and hers says Shadow Edition. But, I don't know, whatever, doesn't matter. It's a cool color. So I heard about this deck on the Coffee and Cauldrons podcast, which I really enjoy. Oh, this is gonna be hard because it's all foil. And I was like, just the way that they described using it, I was like, ooh, I need to check that out. That sounds really neat. And then, I don't know, it's like I manifested it or something, because this edition of it showed up in one of the, like, tarot buy and sell groups on Facebook for a really good price, because this is a pricey deck. I don't know exactly what it costs brand new, but I just know it was pricey. So it showed up for a much better price used, and so I took that opportunity to get it, and I've been so enjoying it. I've been using it in my work with Hecate, however you want to say that. I feel like this deck really connects to her really well, but it's also just a great general use oracle. It feels really magical. Sorry, I hope I'm not making you, like, seasick by doing this, but I want to show the images as best I can. It's not this hard to see in person. It's just the way the lighting is right now. So yeah, really cool. It feels so magical. That is the Threads of Fate Oracle. Alright. Oh, I'm getting out of breath. A few more. We've got 4 more here to show. Alright. Next is the Flora Healing Oracle, because are we surprised that I've just been collecting plant decks now? I really like this one. This is, I don't really know that this full-size version is in stock currently, but there is a pocket edition, which I kind of thought was cool. But anyway, so this deck, we've got a picture of the plant on the front, and then what the plant is with our message on the back, which I think is really, really cool. This is one that I feel like I'd really enjoy kind of bringing out and about with me, since I don't need to worry about a guidebook. It's all right on one card, which I really appreciate. And the artwork is really beautiful. Again, really leaning into that watercolor style energy. Ooh, look at that. Pretty. I love the keywords too. The keywords are super, super interesting. I need to make a bag for this deck though, because while the box is really cool, I tend to always want to pick it up like this and then everything falls out, which is why somewhere in this it's gonna start getting all mixed around, because I dropped all of the cards the other day. But yeah, I'm gonna make a bag for this one. Bee Balm, I've got some of that. It's got a lot of plants too that I have in my own garden, which is always exciting. I'm gonna make a bag for this so that I can like bring it out and about with me. I think that'd be so fun. So yeah, that is the Flora Healing Oracle. Next up is the Tiger Tarot. This is one that Meg from Rose Honey Ritual showed on her channel. And I was interested in it for sure, but I'm not really a collage deck kind of gal. But Andy has this one and loves it. Loves it. And so does readings for us a lot with it, or has. And every single time I was so blown away by the guidebook message, which is short. It's like maybe a sentence or two, but it's one of those, like kind of like the Future Ancestors Tarot, where it's like that's all you need, and then it's just, it leaves you thinking. It's one of those decks that really leaves me thinking about it even after I've put the cards away. And so I was kind of hemming and hawing on this one, because you kind of have to, it's this interesting way to acquire this one. You have to email basically like the art gallery person who has the copies of the decks. And so I did, and then forgot I did, but she was so nice and emailed me to let me know that there was only a few copies left of this, I guess, asking if I wanted one. So right away I was like, yes, okay, I'm taking my chance on this, and I'm so glad I did, because I've been really thoroughly enjoying this. It feels like just a collage deck that I can work with. It makes sense to me, and it doesn't feel so overwhelming. So if you're interested, like, for sure, definitely recommend reaching out soon, I guess, because not to put like FOMO scare tactics out there, but I don't know any sort of status on possible reprints, so, you know, just to say. But yeah, it's a really, really cool deck. I'm obsessed with the guidebook. Can't say enough good things. So that is the Tiger Tarot. Okay, so next up is a deck I got in the latest Hay House sale for so cheap. I couldn't even believe it. They really put stuff on sale. It's kind of wild. This is the, what do we call it? What are you called? Daily Crystal Inspiration Cards. I asked because I've got it in this Sunset Bow Tarot bag, because hold the phone. Hold the phone. Are we kidding? Look at this pair. I mean, that's unreal, isn't it? It's like it was made for the deck. And something about having the deck in this bag is just making it all the more better. So it's a crystal deck, which I've never owned a crystal deck. I like crystals. I don't work with them in any sort of extensive way, really. I like having them out and about. If I'm doing any sort of spell work, I like looking for the correspondences and using them in that way, but that's kind of the extent. But how many times am I going to say, Andy has this one? Andy has this one, so now I do too. My life story. She just finds the good stuff, you know? So Andy has this deck, and also is much more well-versed in crystal and crystal work than I am. And so uses this again for readings for us all the time, and I just love it. I love it. And so when I saw it was on sale for, I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was like maybe $10. It was really crazy, the like sale price on it. Was like, all right, we're getting it. We're getting it because I don't have a crystal deck, and there is totally a space for that for me. I've really been loving using this. It's so good. I love the messages you get right on the bottom of the cards. There is a guidebook to go with it that sometimes I use, sometimes I don't. It just depends, because you really do get a lot just from the keywords or key sentence there. And I really do like that it's like photographic pictures of the crystals. So that is the Daily Crystal Inspiration. I mean, it's a cheap deck to begin with, even not on sale, but definitely keep an eye out because Hay House does so many sales. Because this is so incredible. I was going to say incredible for the price, but even besides that, it's really a good crystal deck. Not that I have anything to compare to, but I like it as not much of a crystal person. All right, we are up to the last deck here. So last but not least, we've got the Thera-pets, which I saw this so long ago on Kelly Bear's channel, and on her Instagram she's been using this so much, and I always love the look of it. But it's kind of an affirmation deck. It's 64 emotional support animal cards. I love the artwork on it, but I never picked it up because I don't know, I don't use affirmation decks much. I don't find that they work for me. I do like doing certain readings where I'll do like shadow work with it, where I pull the affirmation card and kind of do a reading around like what makes me uncomfortable about like that affirmation, if that makes sense. But this feels so different than your typical affirmation deck. It really feels like these creatures are coming through to just like, I don't know, make you feel better. I find too, this is something I really like to use when I am struggling with something in relation to just my own neurodivergence. I feel like it is not at all marketed or like said to be created this way, but I feel like this is an affirmation deck for just neurodivergent people. Not just, anyone can use this obviously, but I just find that the messages really cater to the things that I struggle when it comes to that, because you know, as I learn more about myself and my needs and my tendencies, it's really easy to get in this like space of kind of just beating myself up, feeling bad about certain things, feeling embarrassed. And this deck, without fail, has made me feel better in those moments. Just by pulling one card and reading the message, it's like, it's spot on every single time. And then it's also, they're big cards. Let me see if I have a tarot size card. Yeah, okay. This is like a regular tarot size, so I wasn't expecting it to be this oversized. But something about that, like the sensory experience of having these super large cards with these bold colors, I don't know, it feels so magical and it's so good. I can't recommend enough. So that is the last deck I have to show today, and that is the Thera-pets Oracle. So I hope you all enjoyed this video. I will now reset my list and be back again in about a month or so. Let me know if you have any new decks in your collection that you've really been loving. I always love hearing what people are interested in, what they're working with. So other than that, I hope you're having a wonderful start to your weekend, and I will see you again very soon.